Charan, welcome back to Partnering Leadership. I am absolutely thrilled to have you back with me.
Thank you, Mahan. It's an honor to be on your show. But more importantly, you ask the most incisive questions, brings the best out of me, and I hope the audience will benefit from our conversation.
I have no doubt, Ram, the audience will benefit. Our last conversation, which was my episode 66, now I'm past 400, was on your book, Rethinking Competitive Advantage. A lot has happened since then. That's still a brilliant episode where you shared your thoughts. But I'm glad to have you back to get some more of your insights on what's happening in the world now. But before we get to that, Ram, I am incredibly impressed with the fact that you continue churning out cutting edge insights, whether it is on organizational leadership or AI, which we will get to later on. What continues to drive you?
There is a fundamental and a universal law, and that is learning must continue. We must feed the brain and the mind with new knowledge, and the mind integrates it, gets insight. And this is the foundation of all AI. So, my mission personally is to learn as much as I can and convert that into something useful. That's what I live for.
It shows with the clarity that you communicate messages, Ram. You are very clear and insightful in the way you share things. Now, one of the points that you have been emphasizing a lot over the past few years is that this uncertainty is permanent.
Absolutely. The key point is the question you should ask. How do we catch the signals of uncertainty? Who creates it? How does it get created? Do I do a better job of finding the signals, connecting the signals, predicting the signals, and how they compose what's coming, the uncertainty? So there is another fundamental rule and universal truth, and that is the seeds of uncertainty are embedded in the actions of today. Find those today. Our mind does it. That's how the Bayesian theory in AI was invented. Our mind is a born Bayesian. And that's how, in 1762, the inventor put that as a totally correct, inviolate mathematical equation. So we don't use the word Bayesian because it's a jargon, but we know that's how the mind does.
Ram, that is such a brilliant point when it comes to thinking about organizational strategy. And I want to spend a little more time on that before going to AI's
Yeah,
implications. You are mentioning that the seeds of that uncertainty are there today. So if you are willing to look, you will see those seeds and therefore their impacts. Along with that, you also focus on the importance of building resilience into strategy. And I wonder, with you advise top CEOs and have for decades around the globe as they think about organizational strategy, how do you advise them to actually build that resilience into their strategy and strategic thinking?
Mahan, you got to have two things at the same time: resilience and ability to adjust. They're called agility. I don't use that word. Resilience to be able to withstand shocks. So we got to say, how are you prepared to withstand shocks and at the same time able to make adjustment change? There are some internal changes that can be harmful, but let's just stay with the external change. So now it's the ability inside to do both. It's not one or the other. And so it starts first is the culture at the top team. Because what it does at the ground level, if the top team have altogether, let us say 12 people, the CEO and 11 others, some have 10, excuse me, some have 12, some have 15, but let us keep it 12. I just picked up the number out of there. This team prepared to absorb shock, prepared once adjustments have to go to reassign people, adjustments to break old partnership and start new ones. They need to do the rehearsals. They should think about what are the possible adversities and possible new opportunities they see, and then say, what is the rehearsal we do? All the sports that compete do rehearsals. We now have China doing war games. America's doing war games. They're all prepared. They would both have resilience and adjustment. Why not in business? You get the top 12 people to do that. Don't worry about the rest of the organization. It will happen. The problem is they need to do that. Does that make sense to you?
I, Ram, it's such a brilliant point. However, so infrequently practiced, where over facilitated, I've observed lots of strategic planning and strategic thinking, and it doesn't go to the level where you're talking about the practice of assuming the different disruptions that can happen,
Right.
therefore having the leadership team have to adjust in real time in the war game, in the playing for scenario planning in a way that actually makes it more real for them.
My career, I have met one man. I know he does it. He turned Ford around. Alan Mulally. He built 777. Never heard any complaint. He practiced that art with his team, both at Boeing as well as Ford. He is my model, my ideal, who actually has done it and shown results. And that's what the future leaders, they need to learn how to do that. They need to have humility. They need to have power. They need to select the right team, because the only answer for uncertainty is looking and seeing opportunities and adjusting. My second hero is the CEO of General Atlantic, Bill Ford. He has done it. I've seen him do it, and he's very quiet. You will never see him in the press. And General Electric, the private equity firm, I believe is a brilliant firm. So I've known two CEOs who practice this art. You see, it's not just resilience. It's not just the 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 i- the adjustment. It is seeing new opportunities that require adjustment too.
Now, Ram, why do you think you are operating at a very high level with a lot of these top CEOs and executives, which is where lots of organizations still fall flat? How do you see it as helping transform organizations?
And let and putting them in effect. And how do you do that? Now, in the exponential growth today, the legacy companies have no choice but learn how to have AI as a part of the strategy. AI, first, people don't understand it. Second, and third, There is no training they're getting where somebody take them through with illustrations that how AI embeddment causes exponential growth, both in margin and in revenue. At the same time, you have a differentiation because AI enables you to be really, really creating a better experience for the customers, or people call it customer centric. Personalization to a customer and measuring the experience of the customer, engaging the customer in dialogue, gathering the data, creating a repeat purchase, increasing the revenue at lower cost cannot be done without AI. Every business has a customer. No customer, no business. Borrows the youth. These are exact steps. When I was in the shoe shop at the local town, I would take 4 pair of shoes on the bicycle, go to people's homes, fit them in, get them one to buy, take 3 back, knew their names, knew the size of their feet. As you know, in my days in India, families, ladies that didn't come to the shops, we have to go to the homes. It was personalization. Today, we have technology that can do that.
And that's going to be so transformative. Now, one of the is that this is exactly one of the things I know my audience execution, which I think is one of the best books ever written out there. As I've mentioned, so many organizations get and immersing yourself in it. You are not riding the intelligence and the insights you had even 5 years ago, let alone 10, 20. As relevant as they still are, you want staying on the cutting edge.
We have to learn, we have to see, and again, look at the seeds in the present that gives you a hint what's coming. Same thing about AI, it's moving very fast. There are so many people in the world are engaged to take it forward faster. And we need to learn. I'm behind because the people who are doing are fast and they come out, they publicize that how open AI, how Gen
Go on that offense, you continue to emphasize the importance of talent. And I think you're mentioning, Ram, that talent now is even more important, including to that AI success for organizations than before. You say no talent, no numbers.
that's right. Absolutely right. Nothing overcomes the wrong fit between the talent and the job unless you change the job. You weren't going to change the talent. Now, you look at it 12 people, the top, that's the engine. You have one critical person wrong, the whole team will suffer. Sports, football, you have one person wrong, the whole team suffers. Baseball, basketball, these are century old sports. Why not in business?
So why is it, Ram? I find so many organizations, including boards of directors, as they contract out with some of the top global search firms in the world. They interview top candidates, do personality profiling, all kinds of testing. They end up selecting the wrong people to become the CEO. I do want to mention you've spent a lot of time with corporate boards. In 2024, among your many honors that you've received over the years, you received the Greatest Impact on Corporate Boards Award.
I did,
So
yeah. Thank
you
you.
You know a thing or two about corporate boards, but
Oh,
why
yes.
is it that these smart people end up such horrible decisions in picking the one talent? Talent, every role is important, but the one person that has the most impact and influence on the organization's success.
Absolutely. Until about, say, 7, 8 years ago, the boards really did not pick the CEO. The out CEO basically figured out a way who should be the successor. I've gone through those personally, and the boards go along because the boards in the publicly held companies, they meet 4 times a year or 6 times a year. It's not the boards. People need to understand this. It's 2 directors, maximum 3, who carry the ball. The rest of the board does not. And they're trying to do their best, which way it is. And so that's why they rely heavily on these search firms. Search firms, many of them are good. They develop experience over time. The search firms have the disadvantage of not knowing the intricacies of the context of the company at the time. It's very high level, it's not specific. And that's why decisions, because the question they ask, give us the best, it's the wrong question. They produce a job description in 3 pages, it's the wrong thing. Nobody can meet all the 3 pages. So here in the job description, you got to say, other than the normal things, character, honesty, etc., energy, etc., what is it that this company needs now? And will the person be able to do that? Or shape it, do it? That part is missing. The second part about that, the get the best person, it is getting the best fit. So I've done CEO selection, many countries. I'm able to show to the candidate, this job is not for you, right in front of him. And he thanks you. I said, you are a CEO candidate, but in this job, you decide, I give you the facts. Would you love it? He said, hell no. So wrong question, wrong answer. So we have had many examples where a growth guy went to a company that was struggling and he couldn't do it, and the company went bankrupt. There was no fit. He went to a different industry. There are plenty of those examples both ways. The idea here is, don't say best candidate. First define, in the context the company is, what is the non-negotiable thing this person has to carry it out? And then this person, what is the right fit?
It is incredible that advice that you give is essential in all roles, most especially in the CEO role. A lot of times people don't look at the fit of the individual
Yeah.
within the dynamics of the team or the organization. But the other thing that you mentioned that I also see quite often is that there's a lot of focus primarily on past performance. Therefore, the board and the search firms are looking for someone whose past performance indicates they might be successful in this role. You advocate looking at it slightly differently because past performance could have come from a more established world. Would love to understand, if you are not looking at past performance, then what?
When you're recruiting from somebody else, the thing is that he or she in the other company has been molded by the context of that company. And if he's great, why would that company let him out in the first place? So I had an incident about 6 months ago in India. I was invited by a very big man. They were having a 500 people meeting, this big theater, private, sit in the second row, right in front, within 20 feet, finance minister is going to sit. There is an aisle. On my left is the billionaire who built Flipkart. And then on his left, there's an empty chair. And then there is aisle. So a tall fellow came, sat down in the empty chair. He saw me, came towards me. Very, very nice things. Came to company A 20 years ago, and I learned a lot from you. Then he went to company, came there too, and I learned a lot more. He told me things. And they said, I'm now a CEO of one of the largest companies in India. So I thanked him and all that. Then I reflected and I said, why did the first company let him out? Why did they not see it? Look for what it could do. He could do, she could do. Now the first company CEO, founder is still my friend. He didn't even. Second company had gone bad times. All the three are different industries. So you recognize talent early. What could they do? So now when I'm doing some work in companies and I meet people, I say, this is good what you've done. Tell me, what you love to do in the future? What could you do? What is it your capacity you're not using it? Andy Jassy in Amazon does that. And that's how they upgrade the people.
Now, having on that.
You see, the key point is how AI expands your capacity and capability. It's not automation. Yes, it does. It expand my imagination. Do I know how to use it for my imagination? We will have AI that will have logical reasoning built into AI, into cell phone. Logical reasoning beyond three variables, most human beings cannot do. So now, with more data, more judgments from outside your they will all get processed and they give you options you never thought about. That is exponentially increasing your capability to make decisions. That's what AI ought to be. Some people do that. Very few of them. They're not yet trained or keen about this.
It becomes such an incredible lever for humanity and for the individuals who know how to augment and how to think creatively with it. Have you seen any organizations, Ram, that in your view get it with respect to AI and talent and are leading the way on that?
Well, it's well known. Native companies like Meta. He's doing that. He's running a business. He's changing it. I think Andy Jassy is doing that. He's native to it, even though they sell hard stuff. I see changes at Uber. Dara is doing that. It's shifting the company. I see portions and Walmart beginning to happen. I think Doug McMillan gets it. But he's building people around him who have come from native companies. His HR person came from Adobe. He just got a new guy last week from Instacart. He's building this staff around who have come from native AI companies. That's how it's changing Walmart. I think Anand Krishna at IBM gets it. I think Bob Bradway in Amgen gets it.
These are these are these are outstanding examples, and I appreciate you sharing those, Ram. You mentioned Anand Krishnan at IBM. I do have one sidetrack
But
question.
by the way, let me interrupt. In India, Gautam Adani gets it. He's a high school dropout and a big, bold thinker and do. So those who want to, they can do it. A high school dropout. Think about that for a minute. Why not? That was then. But he's learning, driving, investing tons of money, and succeeding. He gets it.
So these CEOs get it on the AI. The side question, from my perspective, has been I've been fascinated over the past half a dozen years or so about the fact that quite a few of the very successful CEOs, disproportionately to the number of some of these top companies, are Indian born Indian Americans. Whether you look at a whole list of other companies, Googles of the world, do you think there are, by that, a bunch of these top CEOs disproportionately have an Indian origin or education?
So Mahan, go back to the 60s, 70s. Indians, same origin, did not get there. These guys are the third generation, I think, that earned their way to get there. There were cultural impediments. Their ego, we know the answers, you don't. You speak too fast, not understood. High ego. But they knew the answers better than others. All that has changed. These people came through the lower ranks, understood it. They got ferreted out who couldn't change. Those who could change and say, we work differently in the leadership jobs. Almost all of them were the cream of India, competing, gold medalists, number one in the class. So they earned it. Yes, there are cultural things. A number of these people are better in the connecting the dots regarding numbers. I don't use a calculator ever or computer in the boardrooms, and I'm a chairman here and there. I do all that in the head. We are trained that way. They come from Gujarat, from UP, Rajasthan, from their early childhood, that they can connect numbers better than most people on planet. They're very good at it. And business is numbers.
In addition to numbers, Ram, you connect concepts, you connect realities better than others, which is part of what helps when you are the voice of what's happening in leadership and where it's headed. So, would love to know, when you are looking at leadership right now in organizations, what is something that gives you hope about where we are headed with respect to leadership? And what do you think still needs to change for our leaders, CEOs, executives in order for us to be able to tap into the potential ahead?
You see, Mahan, the future does not come from future. Leaders shape the future. So, leadership of a corporation is shaping the future. Those who cannot, they won't survive. So, that mission has never changed. Future of the company, future of the industry, even future of the nation. Steve Jobs was one who shaped the future of the world. He may not have known at that time. And people, through classical description, will never call him a CEO, will never call him a leader because he doesn't fit. Before his success, if you said it to the search firms, I don't think he'll make it. It's Jeff Bezos. I don't think he'll make it. So it is the native, it is it is looking forward and say, as a CEO, we shape the future of a company, of a industry, of a nation. Right or wrong, President Trump is reshaping the global order. It's in response to President Xi's ahead of time shaping the future order. And there is a contest. I will be writing this report. People have not yet captured it. Certain things have happened this week. And now Trump, I will show you, has shown the brilliance in India strategy going forward. Watch huge growth coming. All the pieces are in place. They have not been together. Totally brilliant. FDR did in depression. Trump has figured out and moving ahead against a very, very uh, contestant from China. Now his pieces are in place and they're being executed, become more clear to the people in about 6 months. He is shaping that future. It's real. He's done it, had write papers, negotiate the State Department, security, so on and so on. Here are 5 people who done it. A strong team of 5 people. In time he comes because America was in a great financial difficulty. This is all going to be ironed out. He got it right.
And you have mentioned the relationship with China and China's future in some of your writing, Ram. Would love your thoughts for you to complete. You mentioned the U.S. order. How will a U.S.-China relationship matter in this
Yeah.
situation?
So Mahan book is in November. I'm just completing it. The title is China Assault. Stop its march. Trump has figured out. It's moving. If you put yourself in Chinese shoes, President Xi has a brilliant strategy, a very clear goal. And that is destroying the industrial capability of the West. He has done that for 10 industries. Next 10 are under targets. Signed that way. I believe Mr. Trump understands that and is taking actions about it. It's much more than that, that the destruction of the West, of the West's capability to fight, has been systematically destroyed. Now, all what Trump is doing is going to restore it. Pieces are in place. And he has flexibility. If the other counterparty does not implement, he will be able to get them to do it. Everybody poo-poo tariffs, they don't understand. They were living in the past. Tariff is the only way so far anybody can figure out to remove the currency disparity. We have suffered where every single country has devalued their currency. China, late 90s, 450 to a dollar. It's 730 now. There is no way you can compete unless you bring that parity together. Trump figured that out. Economists have not. All the previous presidents have not. State Department has not. Are they pushing his way through and getting there? Japan, 2012, it used to be 78. It went to 160. It's 140. They put 15%. So that 140 goes again to 120. You can now play the game. That's happening right now.
What a brilliant breakdown of what is happening, Ram. And I wait along with the audience to read your book when it comes out. There is one thing you said about leaders that they shape the future.
Yes.
I can say on behalf of myself and countless others, whether it is the CEO you ran into in the conference or in the small meeting, 500 people auditorium in India, the many listeners of podcasts, including mine, the people that have read your 30 plus outstanding books, and the many articles, you shape, and through their thinking, you shape the future. So appreciative of the insights you have so selflessly shared for so many years, Ram. The example that you set with your own ongoing learning and your humility, which can serve as an example for all of us. What an absolute incredible joy, Ram Charan, to continue learning from you. Thank you so very much for joining me in this partnering leadership conversation.
Mahan, thank you. I'm honored to be with you. And you reinforced my mission. I continue to learn. Thank you.